All right, there we go.
Yeah, there we are. We're just having some technical difficulty. They changed my buttons on me on Skype since last time I did one of these. Don't you just hate when they do that? It sounds like a personal problem, right? But yeah, so I'm here today on OSH Radio with Cory Rosen. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how you pronounce it.
And I always hate that, killing people's names. There's a few people I will not say their names. I let them say them on purpose because of that reason. But a couple weeks ago, Cory interviewed me on his show there, The Story. He's got his hoodie on, and I made sure I had my sticker today to show it in case he didn't have that with him. And that was nice. That day we talked about music. Today I wanted you to tell us a little bit, Cory, about yourself and about your show. And then I wanted to talk about something we were talking about transhumanism. But I liked your perspective and some things, and I think it's important for some of the other transhumanists to hear some different views other
Sure.
than within their own group. And first of all, if you went to a Bible college,
I did, yes. Lancaster Bible College.
and that gives you a different perspective also, which is good. And you got a music degree. Tell us a little bit about that, and then tell us about your show, The Story.
Yeah, so I went to Lancaster Bible College in 2017 with it, and I graduated 2021 with a degree in music composition and biblical studies. And so now I use that composition degree. I'm working on a movie right now, and then I decided, because of how I saw the music industry in Lancaster, it's a really unique perspective that we have here with theater. You have your gigging musicians, and then you have your classical side. All of them come right here all the time. You have 1,000,005 theaters, 1,000,005 venues to do stuff at. And I thought, wow, it'd be really great if there was a place where people can go and talk about their stories, their careers, their music, and that's why I started the Story podcast.
Yeah, it was very nice, and I enjoyed coming on and talking about my music and stuff I've done related to music and writing, and we touched a little bit on some music stuff, and it's all very entwined, and as you get going, you find your career kind of changes.
Right.
Years ago I was out there doing the clubs and stuff, and now I'm doing more of adding my music to movies, and it's trying to get your creativeness out, and I think that's very important. So how long have you been doing the story then? How long's that been going on?
Since this past April.
Since past April. So that's almost a year then.
Almost a year, yeah. Crazy.
And, and about how many people do you think you have on there? Have how on so far?
I just had my 122nd episode yesterday.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And how much of viewership have you been getting? Now you said it's wherever you can find podcasts, you have it out there, and they also play it on the college radio
Oh,
station.
yep, it's on the college radio station. You can find it at CoryRosenProductions.com. That's CoryRosen Productions.com. You can find all of our episodes and podcasts there. You can search up The Story, Cory Rosen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, music, YouTube Music, wherever you do your streaming from, it's there. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Now, how is your writing and stuff? I know I sent you some lyrics, and you're saying there's not the kind you were quite used to, but yeah, I have to admit too. You said you like rhymes. I always like rhymes, and I've kind of gotten a little bit away from rhymes because sometimes rhymes sound so
Trite.
poppy to me
Yeah.
sometimes. Or, well, that's a good word too. So, what kind of music do you like to write yourself, and about what topics actually also?
So for me, it really depends. I write all kinds of styles because I like to explore all type of styles. I'll write a rap song. I'll write a blues song. I'll write whatever song I'm feeling. But typically it's more of an instrumental that I kind of like flourish in, because it gives me certain freedoms but certain limitations as well. And writing isn't my forte. I'm not a very good lyricist. But whenever I get around to it, I'll try to sit down, and I'm forcing myself to write more because you can only get better by doing it.
Right. Yes. And we talked about my writing and stuff, and how I let all kinds of things in life guide
Right.
you. Yeah, I think that's important for your lyrics and music too. Let your emotions and things you think about and about guide you, because then you kind of put pieces of yourself into it.
Right.
which is a tie-in of what we talked about too with the transhumanism in a way also. So where do you see yourself going with your career? Where would you like to be? Let's do the horrible 5 years. Where do
Right.
you see yourself, young man, in 5 years?
So there's two paths that I have considered going down. There's the if this movie does really well, which it seems like it might do, it might win a few awards. I might get recognition through that, and then I might get opportunities through there. And so that's one place where I can see myself being more of a film score kind of guy. But on the other hand, if my podcast does really well, which it seems like it's also doing really well, um, um, I want to be able to put on shows, festivals, stuff like that, and be more of a quote unquote. This might be a colloquialism for here, but like a Rich Ruoff kind of character who promotes festivals and puts together musicians and does awesome things around here.
Well, that's nice to do. I was thinking maybe you wanted to be the next David Letterman. Do late night.
That would be pretty cool, but that's a far off from where I am now.
Well, yeah, we all have to start somewhere, though. So
Right.
that'd be great. And I think as we said, our conversation about transhumanism too before, and living and being around for a long time, was we talked about how our art is a way of us outliving and staying alive in some ways.
Yes.
Through your music, through your movies, through my music, through my movies, through my books. You put stuff out there, and that's pieces of you that you put out there to share with people that can live past you. And that's I think that's a big thing for everybody that's creative. You kind of want to share. You're sharing your ideas, but more importantly, you're sharing part of yourself.
Right.
And I think that's important, and I think that's what drives a lot of people. To be honest with you, but okay. So now you said about a movie. Do you have a movie you're working on right now?
Yes, it's called Night Voices. It's produced by Dadley Productions, and it seems to have a release date sometime in the spring.
Okay. Is there any kind of crowdfunding where people could get involved, or no?
No.
No. Okay. Just a lot of people do the crowdfunding, so I wondered if you were doing that. That way, people could jump on board and maybe give you a hand. And is there any need you need for anybody to help out? If anybody's listening, they wanted to help out, or not really right now?
Right now it's we have it all in picture lock, so it's just post production. So everything that needed to help to be done with is already done with.
Well, good timing for those of us that really don't want to help out. No, I'm not kidding.
Right.
Just teasing. Yeah, okay. Well, make sure you keep everybody in the loop, though, for next time and stuff, and make it posted. The crowdfunding stuff seems to help a lot of people out with their projects. And it's funny to me that there's a lot of big name people that still do crowdfunding for their projects also.
Right.
I don't know if familiar with Cindy Rothrock. She was a karate star from years ago, but she's still doing movies, and she's originally from Pennsylvania, from up in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area.
Oh.
And she has a new movie she's working on, and that's out for crowdfunding also. And so she's gone more from being the star to being behind the scenes, but she's still one of the stars. So so there's a lot of people that kind of come back around, and they're still out there with the crowdfunding, because the whole thing has kind of changed.
Right.
Not like it was. In the Netflix and all those pay-per-views and stuff, you'd be surprised that a lot of people get their movies and stuff on them. So I hope that works out. Keep everybody in the loop. Now, you gave everybody how to get your connection online. So post it on there so they can see how the movie's going.
Absolutely.
And stuff. But now we were talking about the transhumanism, and the way we had gone was, we both agreed we liked the idea of longevity and helping us with health and stuff. And both of us kind of echoed the same thing. The concern is totally replacing ourselves or becoming a computer or a total robot.
Right.
And that's where you had some concerns, and maybe you wanted to mention some of those.
Yeah. So the problem that occurs as you replace yourself more and more with technology, and whether it be, I know you yourself have a replaced hip.
Yes.
Right. And so
and circuits in my chest that watch my system that go to my phone, and all kinds of fun things,
And that stuff I feel like is okay. Like, but like you're still human, right? You still have your own thoughts. You still have your own
Well, as
soul,
much as it ever
stuff like
was.
that, right? Right. But once you start getting like chips in your brain, or you start having these connections deeply with technology, I feel like you. At what point are you not being human anymore? At what point are you unsure that you're human anymore? At what point are you saying, "Oh, I don't know if these thoughts are mine or if they're of something else"? That's the problem where I have. At what point are you becoming a memory of yourself as opposed to being yourself?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's not necessarily the point where I'm concerned yet, but I see your problem. Where are you being influenced? Of course, I hate to say this though, but I think modern day media and stuff worries me how much they're interfering with your normal thoughts and you as
Oh,
it
I
is.
agree. I agree.
But my concern was, I think we took it a bit further then and looked at what was it, that Greek warship.
Yes. The Greek warship where they replace a plank and put it back and replace a plank. At what point does it become a new ship?
Well, exactly. I think there's a warship, hasn't it been being used for 1,000 years or something? And is it really that same ship? And we had mentioned it at that point. I think it gets you is when they replace enough of you, what happens to you is a concern. And speaking of it from a spiritual sense too,
Right.
uh, if you have a soul, I'm saying if, I believe you do, but I'm saying if, for those that might not think you do, where does it reside, and does it still reside in you, or is it gone? So therefore, even if you've been replaced a bit at a time and it appears to still be you, have you lost the essence at your core that was you? That's a
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. And especially if like we quote unquote die, right? And then say transhumanists, sometimes some of them want to upload their consciousness up to the cloud or something like that. Uh can something organic like us become or translate all the way into something computer, right? Because if we have a soul that we can't explain, that is completely organic, and we don't know what a soul is, we can't explain what a soul is, but we scientists or whoever think that we have one, how can we upload that into a computer? I don't know if we can.
Yeah, I think I forget what the wording. What wording did you first use there when you said when you die and they do what to you to put you up in the cloud?
So if when they upload our consciousness to the stream, if that's what we want to
I
do.
think that's the issue of consciousness. That's another thing too. What is actually your consciousness?
Right.
That is the issue. What is it when it's not just a jumble of memories or a pattern of now years ago, me and my friends used to work on basic AI programs. I mean, this is all the way back in the days of the Tandy computer. So that's way before your time. But you make decisions and you look at things and how you think about things, and you kind of program the program to make decisions based on how you would make decisions,
Right.
which is kind of like when you come to a fork, would I go right or left? Well, here I would go right. So you program it that way. Well, we come to another fork. Would you go right or left again? Well, this one I would go left at. So you program it that way. But so if you have memories and a network of how you make decisions, is that really your consciousness, or is that just a programming simulating your thought pattern? That's where I think I have an issue and might wonder about it. It might appear to be you, but is it really you? That
And
but dude, does everybody care if it's them or really them or not? That's the all the
right. And there's another aspect to that of whether you believe in determinism or you believe in free will. Because a determinist might say, "Oh, well, we're already programmed to make certain decisions anyway," versus a free will person will say, "Well, no, we have our choices and we can do whatever we want."
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Maybe you could go into that a little bit more. Well, what do you think about that more, maybe?
So if you're a determinist and believes that everyone is programmed, quote unquote, to do something because of their past actions, right? So a determinist thinks, oh, well, they're obviously gonna choose pancakes because they have loved pancakes for their entire life. Of course, they're gonna choose pancakes over waffles, right? That's a determinist view. Versus a free will view is, oh, they have their choice of pancakes and waffles every day. Maybe one day I want waffles instead, right? So there's that aspect. If you believe you're a determinist, you're already a computer program, essentially. You already are a metaphorically, you're already a sentient AI, essentially. So at that point, you don't there is no really melding between human and machine. You already are just a machine. It's just in human form.
We've already been programmed by your experiences and by decisions you've made in the past.
Yes.
But we all know, I don't think we all think that way.
No, we don't.
Every so often you want to put that odd flip flop in there that might go, but even that could be programmed in.
Right. Yeah. I know this is a deep topic that's still debated heavily today.
So where does it? My point is, where does it become a program, an intricate program, and when does it become conscious? Even if it is a learning program, if it learns from its mistakes,
right?
Say you're uploaded to a Android, and all your knowledge and your basic thinking patterns added to it, and it can still learn. Say it tries something new through that flip flop. An odd thing comes in, and it's like, ooh, that's no good. So then it marks that down. We don't want to do that again.
Right.
So if it is learning, is that consciousness? It's not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's an interesting thing. I don't know. And I mean, then the other thing is, depending on how heavily you believe in the spirit and the soul, you could maybe think that once you become a robot, your soul would inhabit it and influence it. But where does that sound like? I don't know. Where does that sound like something you might have been burned at the stake for many years ago?
Right. Yeah. It sounds like possession or
exactly.
Like that.
But isn't that kind of? I don't know. Isn't that kind of what it would be after you're no longer you?
Well, see, if we believe in a soul, I don't believe that a soul can inhabit something inorganic. Right? Because if it could, we'd see it. Right? We would already.
There are those religions and thoughts where they do think there is a soul to everything, including rocks and everything. So
that is true, but those are all, like I said, organic. Well, I guess rocks are not organic, but they're natural, right? They're not synthesized. They're not nothing. They are of this plane of existence. We're creating things that were not made naturally, right? Do those things have a soul? If if you want to argue in that kind of
I see
religion.
your point. Rocks and stuff are natural items, where when we make something, it's something we made. Of course, that goes down to that theory, like we talked to too. If God made man, and therefore what man makes is not necessarily made ungodly because it's made by God through man. So there's also that argument to things. So it's an interesting. See, that is the interesting thing to wonder, and maybe through this we will find out. I mean, even the possibility. I mean, I'm going to throw another whiz in there. People believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
You could have a copy of you running around. Maybe let's say an inorganic copy, and then it gets to the point where eventually you have a robot running around thinking it's you or pretending to be you, and then eventually cloning would be perfected, and maybe your thoughts and memories would be downloaded from that robot into an organic clone of yourself.
That'd be weird.
And now you do have something, does that have a soul? Is it soulless? How is it born? How is it created? If it's born in a external womb, that's soulless. since it's not necessarily really born of a woman. That's an interesting concept also.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if we believe we have a soul, where does it come from? How does it get here? Is another question that we can't answer.
I mean, is the spark of life your soul?
Yeah, right.
But would a clone of you that all your memories and stuff are downloaded in, would that have your soul, or would it have a unique soul, and the being would just be bombarded with all these memories you put into it?
I think it's the latter. That's what I would say, because like I said, I think every soul is unique and it has somewhere to, as a Christian, I believe once we die, our souls go somewhere afterwards. And so I feel like it can't, what's lost can't be regained. You know what I mean?
Well, I always hope that I'm of the belief, I hope your soul is energy, and energy can come back around at some point, maybe. I'm just not always sure of that. When we die, our energy just go into a big group of energy, or we just become part of the whole, which I think some people think of as a euphoria when you die. And if you are reborn, is parts of your energy put into reused, but then is it really reincarnation, or were you just mixed in with the same glop and rearranged in other people too? So that's a thought too, about how does that happen, or maybe it doesn't happen at all, but it's just an
Yeah,
idea.
right. Yeah, it's the funniest part of it all is that we can never find out until we die.
Well, exactly, until we start doing it, but we will find out. But I think the thing is that we want to leave a part of ourselves, and we
Yes.
feel like there's going to be something of us that's left that can influence our family, our loved ones.
Yeah.
And, I think that what I hope is that us, as me, as you, that technology and science can last, that we ourselves, as we are, can last for a long time.
Yes, I agree with that. Like medicine and stuff like that will keep us longer for 110, whatever, how many years on that we can survive. Yeah, that's cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, it does worry you with the factor of keeping your knowledge into uploading it and stuff. But then again, if you do become a person, say your movie stuff and your music, and you get to be maybe the next Beethoven, let's say,
Right.
and they can upload your brain or the workings of your brain into a computer that computer can continue to create music like you did. That is it's not only good for you, but it's good for society in some ways also. I mean, so
I
that is
I
a
don't
good thing, I think.
I don't know, because at what point? Because if you upload yourself to a computer, are you becoming a slave, or are you? Because what if I don't want to live forever, right? There's always that concept of, oh, what if my soul, what if we're supposed to move on, right? What if we're all supposed to die? Like that's part of the human experience. What if when we are depraved from death, we go insane, or something psychological or something biological happens to us where we massively deteriorate, we become crazier, we become psycho, we become suicidal or something like that. And what if I don't want to live anymore? What if I want someone to kill me as a computer, right?
I mean, some of the stories where they talk about vampires, they get like that too,
Right.
because they don't care anymore. But here's the other thing is, I think then your upload of your brain, if you were very good at something, if you were a famous mathematician or you were a famous scientist, and they kept your brain and your thoughts, would could it be a resource, not necessarily a resource that other people could use, not necessarily an extension of your life as we think of it originally, but an extension as in you're there for people to have conversations with and debates with and discuss things and work on projects, and it might become a resource. I'm not sure.
I would agree with you, but I think I think at that point we have to work in like consent at some point, because what if the person doesn't want to, what blah 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 blah. But at that point, I do think it'd be a cool resource, like if we had Einstein's brain, as that kind of resource, because Einstein was one of the most intelligent human beings to probably exist, ever, that we know of, at least. And to have his mind, him to find out that, oh, black holes were real, or relativity is actually a thing that exists, for him to realize he's the father of all physics, pretty much. I don't know if you knew that. Like, that's how smart he
So,
was.
well, if you could tell his pattern, let's call it his pattern that's uploaded,
Right.
all the new information we have, who knows what additional things he might be able to come up with,
Right.
or be able to help solve. So that could be a great, a great thing for society and man as a whole. Yeah, it's one of those things when I think what we're in, me and you are both in union, is we want these bodies to live as long as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe replace what we can to keep this as us. And I'd say the uploading is our last resort if we're still interested.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
But some of this I'm not sure we know of today, and I think maybe hopefully in our lifetimes more information will come about and we'll be able to know. It'd be nice to know more actually about the spirituality and the essence of us. But I don't know if we will,
I definitely think that the first immortal human is definitely alive today. With the way that technology is running, I think the first immortal human is alive today. But is that
Well,
a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
I'd hope it was me, but I'm getting old already, so it worries you. I always joke that I'll be around for a long time. I'm not sure what I'll be, or how much of the original me will be left. And that is somewhat scary, but, we've seen things in comics like that. There's been androids that have pieces of people's brains, and they still, how much do you need of your brain to really hold the essence of you, and you really don't know, and there's just a lot of unknown there. But I think for us, though, right at this point, to keep creating.
Yes, I agree with that.
Keep our immortality through our creations, through our music, through our books, through our movie projects, and through these interviews and podcasts.
Right. Yeah.
We can keep us out there, and I think that's what we can do at this time. I don't think we can't be sure of a lot of things right now. So
that's right.
But it's good. I think it's good. I wanted to interview you and talk to you a little bit more about this, and just get a different side, because a lot of times I interview transhumanists about it, and a lot of us come from a certain point of view, and you come from another point of view, and I think that's good. We're not really too different, though, because you'd like to have a good, fulfilled life as long as you can. Also.
Yeah, I would.
So,
but I do want to die at some point. I feel like I'd have enough of this world.
Actually, a friend of the family that just passed away last year was close to 100, and she actually was ready to go.
Yeah.
He said that, it just got to be...
At some point, it's too much.
It was like drudgery to her anymore, and that's a pity, because I think the big thing you want is quality of life. You want to still be able to enjoy your life. And I think sometimes you get to a point where you're not necessarily doing that, and that's sad. But but yet I've seen some people that are old and are still
kicking. That's right.
Stuff. Yeah, they're still having a good time. Well, I tell you what, thank you, Cory. And I'm glad you... Anything else you'd like to plug in closing? Your website?
Yeah, my website again is CoryRosenProductions.com. That's CoryRosen Productions.com. You can find more about me, the projects I do, and the podcast that I run as well.
Yeah, and I'd recommend everybody to go out, look at your podcast, learn more about you and your guests, and see the funny one in me where I think I look like I'm a chubby old man, but probably because I'm trying to get to be a chubby old man. But all right, Cory, and you have a great one.
You too. See you around.